forgot. What about the we didn't touch too much on Tom's question about the lenders and retired buyers on fixed income. Anybody want to try to take a crack at that one?
If you're on the verge of retiring, this is a discussion you need to have now, because a lot of times when you go from being a worker to retired, your income changes, and there's a lot of different variations on what that means, where your retirement incomes comes from, or if you're living off of savings or different investments. And so it can significantly change your ability to qualify for a mortgage. And so a lot of times, in many cases, I've had lenders recommend to a buyer to keep working, close on the home, and then once you close on the home, then you can retire. Because after you're closed, it doesn't matter, right? As long as you pay your mortgage, the bank doesn't care. But if you retire and then your situation changes, now they're gonna look at your current income, and if they don't look at it or treat it the same way as work income, it could totally blow up your qualification for a mortgage. And so you really want to have that conversation if you're on the verge. If you're already retired, then have a conversation. There may be a way where you can structure your retirement income to increase your qualification, because it's a very interesting thing. People are always surprised, right? I got $3 million in the bank, but I have no income. So you don't qualify for a mortgage, right? Like, because you need to have income. They don't really care about how much money you have on hand. But there's a lot of different ways and programs and stuff. So you got to have that discussion with a mortgage broker that knows the ins and outs. That's an expert in that area.
Hey, so actually, as someone myself who is planning for my retirement years, though they're probably a ways off, I am curious, how does the let's talk about someone who's in retirement. They've got and let's say they've got they're getting their Social Security payments, and let's say they've got a portfolio in a retirement portfolio, not a pension. So there's not like a fixed government pension or a company pension, but they've got a retirement portfolio, and the retirement portfolio is generating a certain amount of they have a retirement portfolio, and they're withdrawing on that retirement portfolio, and that would be their income. So let's just say, for discussion purposes, they're withdrawing $50K a year on their retirement portfolio. And let's just say, again, for discussion, they're pulling $25K a year from Social Security. So they're getting $75K a year that they're pulling out as, quote, income. Now, does the bank ask for, I'm assuming the bank is going to say, okay, your income is $75K. Now, the question I've got is, does the bank also want to see detailed financials of how big your portfolio is? Do you have a $10 million portfolio or a $1 million portfolio? Is it a risky portfolio that you're all in stocks and something, or, do they weigh that at all? Or does the bank say, look, you've been withdrawing $75K a year for the past 2 years or more on retirement. As far as we're concerned, you're at $75K. How does that work? Scott, go ahead.
So you're getting into a very detailed lending question.
Sorry.
But I just went through this actually. I went through this in two scenarios. One we were looking at where the assets are big, but the income, that all the income is being written off. And all these loans that you see that you're quoted on online and things are income-based loans. What is your income coming in? What's your monthly income? And that's how they base the loan off of. So if you're in retirement and you don't have that income coming in somewhere, you have to show some kind of stream of income. And to go back to even your point about, if you're showing $75,000 a year, well, part of that play is making regular, consistent draws over a period of time so that you can show it as basically regular income, even though it's coming out of the portfolio account. The other thing is then these loans aren't available all the time. They're the asset-based loans, where if you can show the portfolio of assets, you can actually get a loan on that through a very few lenders, and the interest rate is higher. And I know the lenders to be able to put you in touch with for that. But those are some of the options. But it's all about game planning. It's all about, meeting with us ahead of time. What are we looking at doing? Let's strategize on that component.
Excellent. Really good point. So what I'm hearing about this, and hey, folks, all the retirees or those planning for retirement in the audience, pop your questions in. This is a great point. So what I just heard you say, Scott, is twofold. Number one is you can get an asset-based loan, but you got to go through a bunch of hoops, and there may be a higher interest rate because it's a higher risk, etc. So you can do an asset-based loan. And the other one would be, If you're withdraw, if it is based on income, make sure your income is consistent, sort of consistent draws, as the word that you use. You're pulling consistent draws for several years, so you can say, look, over the past 2 or 3 years, I have been pulling out $50K at the rate of $4K a month, so to speak, out of the bank, and so I would naturally kind of potentially qualify for that.
And there's another way to look at that too, from the planning point. Okay, what do you want to qualify for? What do you want to buy? Oh, that? Okay, well then the draws need to be this, right? This amount, so that you qualify. It's all in the planning component.
It's all in the planning. Yeah, all in the planning. Good one. Excellent. Troy popped up a question. Do you have information for retirement from Canada? Mother-in-law wants to retire in Hawaii, but unsure with Canadian citizenship. Let me give you a quick answer, Troy. She's got to be an American citizen. And if she's not an American citizen, the best you could do is, there are a lot of Canadian snowbirds, though, Scott. I'm going to be really interested to kind of find out what's going to happen with those Canadian snowbirds. Now, what we've had up to now is we have what we call them snowbirds, folks that come from Canada, and they come up here and they stay during the winter months, and then they go back when spring comes, when spring kind of rolls around. Typically that's like a 3 or 4 month period. But with the new regulations for Oahu, where it's still considered a short-term rental as opposed to a longer-term rental, they may have their prices may change. They may be more expensive. So Troy, what I would say right off the bat is, your mom can come as a tourist. I don't know what the visa is. You have to look at the tourist visa requirement from Canada. I think it's 6 months. Scott, I don't know if anyone's got any info on what okay. So Scott's nodding 6 months. It's a 6 month visa. Then she's got to go back. Although the prices may change because of this whole short-term vacation rental business, it might be kind of funky. So that's what I would do, Troy. Tom comes back. So I guess I'm taking my company's offer to keep working as a virtual employee in Hawaii until I get the mortgage. Exactly, Tom. Keep the job. Keep the job. Keep the income. Get the mortgage, and then you could quit and do whatever you want to do.